It's kind of funny how there are players out there that respect Jalen Hurts so much in his game, and how just what he's done the past couple years really has attracted players to really want to play with him. And not saying that it's going to happen or anything like that, but Howie Roseman is full of surprises, and this is probably one I don't think is going to happen, but I've said that about a lot of things. There is some realistic things that you have to kind of take into precaution with it. But yeah, we got some news on something, and a little bit on Derek Barnett as well, and the Eagles behind the scenes of what's really going on.
Because I've seen enough horror movies to know any weirdo wearing a mask is never friendly.
Yo, what is going on, guys? Well, it's on a fantastic day today, so I want to go cover some things for the Philadelphia Eagles. And there's been a lot of chatter right now about DeAndre Hopkins. A lot of chatter right now. Now, DeAndre Hopkins has really been holding out for a while. He wants out of Arizona, and obviously not a big fan of Kyler Murray. There's probably a lot of players that aren't really a big fan of Kyler Murray right now, and big hothead last year, obviously coming off an ACL, and DeAndre Hopkins feels like he wants to put himself in a really good position to win a Super Bowl and to, be on a great team. He was on Brandon Marshall's podcast, or I don't know whose podcast it was, but there was a lot of things said by DeAndre Hopkins. We're going to put a little bit of jokes in here too, because some things were said as well. But really, his desire to go to another team, and what is he looking for right now? So there's a few plot points here. Now, he says the QB that loves the game and brings everyone on board with him. Great defense. Defense wins championships. Got to have a great defensive line, and stable management is another one. He's been through 4 GMs, a stable front office, a quarterback that's really good, that is focused, that loves the game of football, a great defense. That's when I think about the Philadelphia Eagles. He did talk about Jalen Hurts as well, and I thought this was awesome. First of all, to put everything aside, as much as we've seen the Dallas Cowboys, and that DeAndre Hopkins apparently, from rumored the last few months, he would want to play for Dallas so badly. And it looks like that's not even the case, because Brandon Marshall even talked about the Cowboys as the first question. Oh, how about Dak Prescott? And he just dismissed the question. He didn't even answer it. DeAndre Hopkins didn't even answer a question about the Cowboys. He totally just went to something else, which means that he didn't want to waste his time talking about that team, and probably doesn't think that team is, with him added on that roster, it's not going to do much, even though I think the Cowboys, they really need to go after a marquee name, because what they're doing right now is just not enough. I think they've had a good offseason, but I think they're better than last year, but it doesn't mean you're going to be it doesn't guarantee you a Super Bowl. Your roster could be better than last year, but, I could say the same thing about the Philadelphia Eagles. We had probably would have been a more historic defense last year, but at the end of the day, we have 2 brand new coordinators this year. You know what I mean? Not saying it can't be at the same possibility of hype level as last year, but, we look good on paper right now, but it really is all about the coaching when it comes to this team. And every team is like that every single year. Coaches change every single year. So the way that Brandon Marshall kind of dismissed the Dallas Cowboys, and now it seems like the Cowboy fans have been wanting DeAndre Hopkins a lot more than DeAndre Hopkins is wanting to go to the Dallas Cowboys. I don't know. I guess that shows a lot. But obviously mentioned some quarterbacks that he would definitely play for. Mentioned Jalen Hurts, and, a top 2 quarterback in the league. So this is what he had to say about Jalen Hurts. He said, Jalen Hurts is one of the few quarterbacks in the league he would love to play with. He also added he wants a QB who loves the game and pushes not just himself, but everybody around him, as well as the team with a great defense, which I said before. He loves Jalen Hurts' play, his mental, his attitude, everything. This is all just talk, okay, when we talk about DeAndre Hopkins and all that stuff. The Eagles have a lot at wide receiver right now. Obviously, we're trying to find more depth right now. We're trying to see if Quez Watkins, there's been some good rumors about Quez Watkins, and how he's making his resurgence, and he's been training his butt off this past offseason. He's added some muscle. They brought in Zacchaeus. You have undrafted guys like Jaden Hazelwood, guys that have played with Jalen Hurts. Charleston Rambo, a guy that, did a good job at the tryout and now is brought into training camp. So, there's nothing promising about it, but it gives a nice little, gives more competition, which is a great thing. You know what I mean? Guys that can play special teams or guys that can compete for that wide receiver 3. Okay. I think the Eagles really do like Quez Watkins a lot. I don't think they dislike him. I think that, I think they have high praise for him. This is the last year on Quez. This is a contract year for Quez Watkins, really. This is the last year on his contract, and obviously he's really got to ball out. He really has to. And I know a lot of fans are upset with him last year. He kind of fell off. I know he had that shoulder sprain, that grade 2 shoulder sprain. I think it was right after that Pittsburgh game he had it. And obviously you try to give him one of the biggest catches in the Super Bowl, and while not playing in consistent games, you try to throw him the biggest. You give him the biggest throw of the Super Bowl, and it goes right through his hands. It's at least at the end of the day he. He's humble about not having a great year. He talked about it. It wasn't the best year for him. He knows that. He's going to work harder. And obviously signing Zacchaeus to this roster from the Falcons, a pure slot receiver. They had a pretty good year last year and a pretty bad offense, over 500 yards, 2 touchdowns. He goes on Twitter and he's like, I'm going to make y'all eat your words, because a lot of fans were kind of dismissing Quez Watkins already, and he kind of noticed that. And I liked how he went on Twitter and said that. It really shows that he's got some fight, and that's a good thing. But bringing in DeAndre Hopkins, number one, you got to trade for him. What are you going to have to give up? And that's something where I'm like, I don't think Arizona's giving up nothing for him. All right, at this point, it could be later on where he's traded. Could be during the season. I think DeAndre Hopkins will be on a roster before the first game. First it was a second-round pick. Then it was a 4th to a 5th. The price is going to go down at certain points, but they know how much worth that they've probably been asking way too much for him. I haven't heard really much any other rumors besides obviously this conversation that they had the other day. Everything else is just third party rumors, and it's not enough for me to say that he's going to go to another team or which team is he really. Really you could take what he says, but at the end of the day, how much respect do the Cardinals have to really trade him? Are they leaving it up to DeAndre Hopkins? I want you to call this team. I want to see if they have interest. Let me, so I don't know. Maybe he tells his agent, like, look, this is the team I want to go to, try to get something done. So who knows? Number 2, you have to put, number 2, how much money does he want? You know what I mean? That's a whole nother thing. Do they have to redo his contract? Blah, blah, blah. You know what I mean? So the Eagles are not going to give DeAndre Hopkins a lot of money. It's not going to happen. They're already paying, they're paying AJ Brown a lot of money right now. That's just what it is. They don't want to kind of fluctuate the cap a little bit. They don't want to make the cap worse. And it's not bad. They're over $13 million under the cap, which is great. You know what I mean? They have money. The problem is if Hopkins wants a lot more, it's just not going to happen. Like, this is just a dream. You know what I mean? And number 3. Putting him in the slot. Is that where he wants to be? He's more of an outside guy, because guarantee you're not bringing him here to share snaps with AJ Brown or Devontae Smith. I'll tell you that much. But I think you could put him in the slot if you really want to. And yeah, if DeAndre Hopkins gets traded to the Eagles, just hand us the trophy now. I think they should hand us the trophy right now, as of right now, with the roster we have. I'm not being cocky about it, but I feel like this team is going to make another run this year, and I think they're going to go back to the Super Bowl, and I think they're going to win. I think we're going to win under Jalen Hurts within his contract. I think they'll go to the Super Bowl 3 times. And I think the least I'll take is him winning 2 Super Bowls for this franchise. And I think it's realistic that they can really happen. I do. So when it comes down to DeAndre Hopkins, like, the talk of Jalen Hurts was fantastic. He has him as a top 2 quarterback, which is great. It's the money, it's trade compensation, and that's really it. And where you're going to put him, you know what I mean? Does he want to be a pure slot guy? Are you going to put him in front of Quez? Quez would be a nice backup. You know what I mean? Like, you'd have really good depth behind it now if you have DeAndre Hopkins here. But at the same time, Do we need him? No. I think you have the roster to get it done, and obviously you got to, as a number 3, he's not going to be a big focal point, but he'll be another option. You can only give the ball to so many people. You have between all the running backs that you have now and everything else that's involved, we don't want DeAndre Hopkins to be a little selfish, and I don't know if he's going to be. I don't think he's ever really like that, but he definitely likes to showcase himself of why he's still one of the best receivers in the league. He's just on a really bad, unstable environmental team right now. And, going through a new head coaching change with obviously the Eagles' ex-defensive coordinator that shouldn't even have a head coaching job. And Kyler Murray is a crybaby, and, he's a head case. And he's coming off an ACL, and DeAndre Hopkins is getting older and older and older. And, he doesn't want to waste any more years away on a team that's rebuilding again, or trying to figure it out, or the quarterback's not where he should be right now. I mean, these are all realistic things when it comes to a team. Look at the team that was just in the Super Bowl. Even he can go to the Chiefs. I mean, there's a possibility he can go to the Chiefs. Chiefs would maybe make a trade. I don't know. He can really go anywhere. But I think the longer this goes on, I think the trade compensation will go down, and I think Hopkins might have a little bit of a say where he really wants to go. Like, if you want me out, and I'm willing to go. I don't want to be here. I mean, he's thrown Kyler Murray under the bus a couple times, and I can't blame him, because I think he's officially done with Arizona. He's just done with it, just over with. So there's a chance that a trade could go down, but I'm not going to put anything promising on it. Like, yeah, it'd be great, but I feel like we've been offensively, we've been pretty good. Free agents, and our offense has been the most intact thing besides Isaac Seumalo and Miles Sanders leaving. The offense hasn't taken a hit. I'm not worried about right guard. I'm not worried about these running backs, because the running backs we just got, if healthy, are better than Miles Sanders. And Jalen Hurts has got another year under his belt. I mean, he was an MVP finalist. Like, look what he did all year. I mean, go from 2020 being thrown into the fire, not a great 4 to 5 games, and then really, with a young team, new head coach, new defensive coordinator, a lot of new pieces. The team getting a little bit younger, and was just not great in 2021, and then. Really, this GM knows how to build around your quarterback, and that's what our GM did. This GM got marquee names. This GM got weapons, and from the trenches on, this team has been fantastic. We got to win championships. This is the only way that these aren't going to be wasted years. And I think out of the next 6 years, you can have 3 Super Bowls with Jalen Hurts. You really could. I believe in him. I don't blame the Super Bowl loss on him. That's just the truth. Jalen Hurts never got the ball back. I mean, Jalen Hurts never got the ball back. That was the problem. The fumble you could put on him, but I mean, really, the amount of what he did in that game, and he came back and scored. I mean, I'm not gonna get into all that, but there is a reason why receivers like this, or any type of players, want to play for Jalen Hurts in this offense, because of just that mindset. There are no quarterbacks out there that have the mindset of Jalen Hurts. I don't think there's one out there that has a strong mindset, that really just his work ethic. And, I'm not saying that nobody works hard, but I got to say, man, nothing bothers this kid. I mean, he went to a Super Bowl and it didn't look like it even bothered him one bit. You know what I mean? Like, it's kind of crazy how far this guy's come. And I would say, as really just being a 2-year starter. I mean, 2020 didn't really count, but, he got thrown in, late in the season, but it is what it is. So that's the news on DeAndre Hopkins. So really, it's about cost. It's about cost, and do the Eagles really have legit interest? I don't think they do. I think they would like him. If we didn't have A.J. Brown, I'd say, yeah, 100% they would have interest. I think they would have a lot of interest in him, but I just don't see it. You know what I mean? And if they get him, I don't even know anymore. We're just spoiled at this point. We're already spoiled by what this GM has done the past, counting this year, the past 3 seasons. A good draft in 2018 as well, So, so it's kind of nuts. So that's the news on DeAndre Hopkins as of right now. And I thought it was funny that he kind of dismissed the Cowboys in the conversation. Like, he just didn't even answer or say, oh no, not the Dallas guy. Like, he just talked about something else. Like, he didn't even have them even on the radar. So It is what it is. And then, interesting enough, I want to talk about, obviously, Derek Barnett. And I think this is another one. I forgot to put the slide up here. But Derek Barnett's another one where I'm actually, there are some behind news about Derek Barnett as of right now when it comes to the Philadelphia Eagles and how much, interest they have as of right now in, do they believe in him going into this year? We heard from Derek Gunn, a few guys talk about they feel really good about Derek Barnett going into this year. I mean, I don't know why. I mean, there are rumors about him getting cut, that maybe someone else, if there's another guy that, I don't know who else is really going to move up and take his spot for him to not, be on practice squad, or I don't know. Derek Barnett hasn't played in a year and a half. Like, it's been a while. To me, he was a 1-year wonder. I mean, Reggie White's, sack record and all that crazy stuff. And I wasn't high on the pick when it happened, but he's a knucklehead. He's trouble. I'm not saying he can't change. I mean, Nick Sirianni was fed up with him in 21. I mean, he kept getting penalties, and, the plays away from, the running back gets tackled to the ground, and Derek Barnett's trying to hit the ball and punch the ball out multiple times, getting a flag. Then the plays away from Tom Brady when we faced Tampa, and he kept pushing Tom Brady when he was on the other side of the field, just stupid crap. And Nick's had issues with him and had talks with him, there's no doubt. But this is another player with a contract year. This is it. Howie Roseman extended Barnett for another 2 years, and I was confused on why. Was it a panic move because they just needed somebody at the spot? I don't know. If Derek Barnett can at least get some pressure this year, I'll be happy with it. I feel like maybe the rest of these guys will make him a better player just for this year. I'm not looking to re-sign him a third time. It's just not going to happen. Nolan Smith is here. I think they'll bring in another guy for a 2-year contract that'll be here. You know what I mean? Graham's going to retire. Barnett just has to go. He just has not panned out to be what he was supposed to be. A strong 17 season, an okay 2018 season, and then it was injury after penalty after injury after penalty after. It was just nonstop. And then to the point where he just couldn't even stay healthy and was getting hurt in training camp and couldn't make it the rest of the year. So, you know what I mean? Apparently the Eagles have a lot of faith in Derek Barnett still. And I don't think this is a PR statement. I think they legit do have a lot going into Derek Barnett this year. Just if Derek Barnett could give me a little bit of production, just a little bit, even though I think he'll be in the third rotation, really. I think he'll be, obviously he'll be, Graham and Reddick, and then you have, Nolan Smith, Josh Sweat, and then really it's going to be Derek Barnett. I don't know. It just depends. They're going to put Kyron in that spot, Patrick Johnson. I don't know. Kyron, they haven't really moved him too much, but, it's I'm not happy about it. I don't know. I don't want this guy to blow games for us, and I feel like I'm as soon as he gets a penalty, I'm going to be done with him. I've been done with him the past year and a half. Really, the past few years, I've been done with him. He's just been around, and half the time last year, or even this offseason, I kept forgetting he was even on the roster because what news do we really hear about him? You know what I mean? So it's annoying. I get it. We might not want him here. I get it. But, if they want him, I just have to support it. As much as I don't want him here, as long as he's not messing up these games, he's not costing the Eagles, to get off the field. He costs them to stay on the field a lot longer, and because of stupid penalties, then it's going to be a problem. Then you're going to have to, I don't know, going to have to reprimand him somehow. You can't trade him. He's got no value. I mean, you can't do nothing with him. Can't do nothing with him. I think he's only $2 million against the cap, but that's $2 million too much. Okay, okay, you know what I mean? Britton Covey's getting paid a lot less than that, and he's doing more than what Derek Barnett probably has been doing. You know what I mean? So you got to take into account where you got to respect what they're saying, but I'm never going to agree with certain things. But Derek Barnett has just been. just hasn't been it for me, man. I mean, he did great things his first year. You know, he made some good plays in the playoffs. He got the fumble recovery in the Super Bowl. You know, like he was a good player his rookie year. He had a lot of good players around him and, you know, a good support cast. He's got to get his stuff together. If he's going to be a Philadelphia Eagle this year, and there's no way he's getting cut, and there's no way that the Eagles are getting rid of him, and if they are promising he's going to be on this roster in the 2023 season, I got to just, yeah, I mean, I gotta support it and hope that he doesn't, you know, become an idiot during the season. And that's really all I can say about it, really. So that was really the news on him. You know, so I thought, you know, I think we don't really talk about Derek Barnett that much. And this is like the first time we made a pretty good, you know, a video about him or part of a video about him. But really, other than that, that's pretty much it. If you lasted this long in this video, make sure you subscribe to the channel. Make sure you like the video as well to help out the channel a lot, and I do appreciate it so much. You know, we're waiting on training camp right now. We're waiting on a lot of things. June 1st, what's going to happen? I don't know, guys, but a lot going on. So DeAndre Hopkins, I thought that was really I really made this video about DeAndre Hopkins more because he gave Jalen Hurts a lot of respect more than us really getting him. I don't even care if how he tries to attempt to for a trade or not. We don't necessarily need him, but I just like the fact that Jalen Hurts is just getting more respect each day that passes by of every single year. And I love that, especially after last year. You know, he didn't win the Super Bowl, but, you know, we will be back, and I know it. So absolutely loved it. And obviously, you know, take a shot to Cowboys fans as well, because it seemed like they made it seem like Hopkins had all this interest in going to Dallas, and that wasn't even the case. The fans, I guess, made you know, they conspired with each other to make this fake rumor up that he was interested, and apparently he's not. So other than that, that's pretty much it. I don't want to make this video any longer than what it is, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Shakes what up, fall slide. Peace out, guys. Peace.